It's showtime. Dude.
Okay, and let's see if we're live. Let me check real quick. Are we live? Are we live? All right. Yes, we are officially live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Turn 4 Podcast, Season 2, Episode 33. I'm your host, Daniel, and I am joined with the usual panel. I'm here joined with Mauricio. Addison is on for this week, and unfortunately, Anthony could not make it in this week. He's had work. He had work to do, and he won't be able to make it. So if you guys wondering, yes, this podcast did start a little bit earlier than usual. I do have some family gathering today. It's my mom's birthday this week, so happy birthday, Mom! If you're watching, this episode is for my mom. So yeah. So how's everyone doing today?
Doing pretty good.
All right.
Pretty well, a little bit better. To be honest.
Oh, and we got Mike Wasowski over here. I noticed that.
Mike is finally back.
What up, Mike?
Mr. Mikey's here.
What up, Mikey?
Pretty much, we just like Rain and NASCAR don't get along pretty well.
Yeah, you still have one eye though.
I'm still having one eye. I think I'm just hoping for next year have two eyes. You know.
Hey, if KFB wins the championship, we're gonna have 3 eyes.
I will have like 5 eyes.
All right.
I have like
Talladega,
4 eyes because he won that many championships, maybe.
Yeah.
We're gonna get more.
So we had Talladega this weekend, and all I gotta say, history was made on Monday. I mean, with Bubba Wallace getting that first career win, first win for 23XI Racing. And not only that, but he now becomes the first African-American driver since Wendell Scott to win a NASCAR Cup Series race in 1963. And he had to be there in the right place at the right time. I didn't get to see much of the race. I was at work, but I did see some of the highlights this weekend. Addison, starting with you, what was your overall takeaway from Talladega this weekend?
Okay. The Cup race, I knew that Bubba Wallace would win a race, but I didn't think it would happen this year. But finally, a first win for 23XI, because it would be between Trackhouse and 23XI for a win. 23XI was the first. I would give the race, I would say, a 9 out of 10 or 7. Because, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the full race distance, but we still saw the chaos that Talladega likes to bring on. And we get to see the full weekend of first-time winners at Talladega.
All right. Mauricio, what were your thoughts?
Pretty normal Talladega race, pretty good racing. Too bad that I was hoping for a better finish for the Gen 6 because that was the last race that the Gen 6 was going to be on Super Speedway. So, but yeah, pretty good racing. Some people can say pretty good winner. I can agree. Like Bubba Wallace, I think, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't think he's a championship material, but definitely he's a guy that can win races. And he's also had proven that he's very good on restricted plays because he's been like being a guy like unlike Ricky Stenhouse, like he's been like being aggressive, but in the correct way, trying to change lanes, trying to make some lanes work, and he's been like the guy that he's been trying the third lane for most of the time, but he's been making it work. So definitely for the people that says that Bubba Wallace doesn't deserve to win, yeah, I'm just gonna let you know that he won yesterday. So yeah, congrats to 23XI, congrats to Danny, congrats to Michael Jordan, and congrats to Bubba for making history. And also congrats to McDonald's, the curse is over. So
that's right. McDonald's is back in victory lane for almost nearly 30 years.
The only way that we're gonna break. That's the only way we're gonna break the pedigree curse. Be right there at the correct time. So we're gonna have to break a pedigree car on a rainy day.
I mean, if it's a rainy day, yeah, it's got a chance. But I gotta say, this is a huge moment for the sport. I mean, for Bubba Wallace to get his first career win. I mean, if you look at the circumstances, of course, NASCAR is going to show up, first African American driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. But you got to look at some of the circumstances when it came to with Bubba Wallace winning and with Wendell Scott winning his first career Cup Series race. With Wendell Scott, winning his first career Cup Series race in Jacksonville, 1963, he did not receive the trophy. Because of the way he was treated by the fans, the way he was treated by NASCAR. And, at that time, 1963, was a whole different time in history, with racism was at an all-time high, segregation going on at that time, kind of NASCAR being a dominant all-white sport. He didn't receive the trophy until this year, before the pre-race at Daytona, when the whole Wendell Scott family were finally able to receive that trophy that from the race that he won in Jacksonville in 1963. So now with Bubba Wallace, him winning this race, he gets to keep that trophy though. So he's given the trophy for the race. So, and not only that, but all of that was trending on national television. It was trending on Twitter, trending on the news, and unfortunately, during that time, we had Facebook and Instagram shut down. So that's something that we definitely had to adapt to.
Not only that, I can see, for example, the people from Twitter, if you can look at the McDonald's official page, they put Bubba's Stan account, I think it is, like how big Bubba Wallace win was. And also getting congratulations to not other than Lewis Hamilton as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like a 7-time Formula One champion. Also congratulate Bubba Wallace's win. Also one of his best mentors. I'm talking about Kyle Busch as well. Congratulate him yesterday as well. So yeah, a lot of people, a lot of good friends, Ryan Blaney, like a lot of people that they appreciate Bubba Wallace's presence in the sport. I think that's what it matters for him, because I don't think he doesn't give a shit about the racist people talking trash about him. I think all he matters is that the people that he appreciates, that they know how good or how gentle, how great of a person is. So I think there's one driver that he's a driver that deserves a win, and he was at the right time, and well, things happen. History has been made.
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. I mean, we got to see several drivers, including Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, even his boss, Denny Hamlin in victory lane. And, I knew 23-11. I kind of feel this was a good opportunity for Bubba Wallace to get a win before the season ends, for him to be able to build momentum. But I think for now, at this moment, all the hype that was given through that 23-11 racing had throughout the beginning of the season. We said, we heard how Bubba Wallace, his expectation heading to this season was to win at least 2 to 3 races. And he did win one. He didn't make the playoffs. He hasn't really been much of a factor this season, but I think with this win, this should be a fuel factor for him to start stepping it up even more, for 23-11 racing, for his team to start stepping up even more. Now that they have that win under their belt, this is kind of their moment where they had to start building up for next season. The fact that next season they're going to have a new teammate, Kurt Busch, who is a veteran driver who I think can really help out and elevate the team, and also elevate Bubba Wallace to kind of take that next step and become a driver who can contend for wins, who can be out there, run top 10, top 15 on a weekly basis. And I think this is a moment where I think if Bubba wants to reach that superstar status from inside the track and outside the track, I think with that win is a good step. But I feel like now is the moment where I feel like he needs to start stepping it up on other tracks, other than a super speedway. Like, for example, on the road courses, we know Bubba is not that good on the road courses. The road courses, he hates them. But I think now with 7, 8 road courses we have on the schedule, I feel like that's something that Bubba needs to work on, But we've seen he runs well at other tracks. We've seen he's ran well at Pocono, he's ran well at Bristol, and he's ran well at Martinsville in the past. So I think he needs to kind of start building up, kind of that not momentum, but he needs to start building up ways that he can start running competitively in other tracks besides super speedways.
Yeah, definitely. But I can tell you something as well. How about 3 first-time winners this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the most craziest. Like, trucks, we got Tate Fogelman in a pretty crazy finish. We got Brandon Brown's that race was shortened as well, but due to darkness. But Brandon Brown was at the right time, and in this case, it's the same for Bubba Wallace. Like, the rain appeared at the right time. So definitely 3 first-time winners. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a monumental moment for the sport. I mean, this whole weekend, I mean, we 3 first-time winners. I mean, upsets that we saw this weekend. I mean, you go from the truck series, Tate Fogelman, definitely a driver who drives for an underfunded truck, battling for the win against the top truckers is, like John Hunter Nemechek. And then in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, I mean, with Brandon Brown getting his first career win, a driver, who is who his family have worked through so much, have been through a lot to get, pretty much he's a driver that he doesn't have a lot of resources. He doesn't have that much resources like a Joe Gibbs Racing does, a Junior Motorsports does, a Penske, a Team Penske does. They did this all on their own, with the support of their family and all the sacrifices. And it's amazing to see Brandon Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely get his first career win. And that, I mean, what really amazed me is the emotion we saw from Brandon Brown, in victory lane. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing seeing these underdog wins. I mean, at times, and especially for those that have to work, that had to grind to get to where they are. The ones that worked hours and hours and hours, not having to rely on top teams for resources, not having to rely on sponsorship like some of these paid drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Brown is not that type of driver who is considered a paid driver. I mean, this is pretty much a team where they have around 10 to 15 employees on that team, even probably less than that. And at times, there's moments where if you're using that approach to work your way up, there's moments where you want to give up, but you got to give them props for not giving up. And honestly, this could give them a lot of confidence heading into the last few races of the season, and hell, even into next season.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you the quick results of the top 10s of these 3 races. But trucks was, I think, one of the most impressive top 10 finish. Hear this. Obviously, Tate Fogelman, then Tyler Hill finished second. Then Todd Gillian, John Hunter Nemechek, Ryan Truex, Cody Roper, Spencer Boyd, he won before as well, Chase Purdy, and Kid McGee. Those are the top 10 runs. And Jordan Anderson, 11, but still pretty good results for a lot of these teams. Obviously, the big teams, they crashed, but still, this is our amazing results for all those underfunded teams. Teams that they don't usually drive up front, but I'm telling you, Talladega is this is what I love about Talladega. This is just how good this type of racing it is. Oh, shit. Give me a second.
What?
Give me a second. Sorry.
Hey, what kind of retone is that, Mauricio? Oh, man. I kind of thought, oh, my. But anyways, to add on, Addison, kind of your overall thoughts. I mean, what do you think of this moment that we saw this weekend? I mean, from 3 first-time winners, 2 underdog stories, and then a driver, who made history as, becoming the first African-American driver since Wendell Scott. I mean, would you kind of consider this as such a historical moment in the sport, having 3 first-time winners in one weekend?
For underfunded teams on like short tracks, half miles, and even road courses, there's sometimes those times where the underfunded teams could be at their best if they have the speed. But super speedways, underfunded teams, any kind of team has that speed to win a race. And
that was the shenanigans. Excuse me. That was a call for my. It's because my mom's phone was here and I got a call from my dad. So
that's a ringtone.
Yeah, that was like the Pink Panther team. So that's.
Oh my.
I'm sorry for that.
Oh hell no! Hey, be funny. Caillou theme song starts playing.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh yeah, sorry. You were talking, Edison, or
Already
you
finished.
Well,
Oh, you finished. Okay. I'm just gonna resume quickly the results from Talladega.
mhm.
Well, the top 10 in Xfinity was not that crazy because we got Brandon Brown, we got Brandon Jones. He needed a result like this. Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick. Well, he still doesn't win. Then we got Jordan Anderson. He barely got 2 consecutive top 10s, but here he got a top 5 in his own team. So that's a huge for this team. Then we got Justin Haley, Jeff Burton, Austin Cindric. Then we got Josh Berry. He's making a huge deal with this one car. And then how about this? Joey Graf Jr.
Oh my god.
That 07 car got a top
Jr.
10. Yeah, Joe Graf Jr. got a top 10. Ryan Sieg got 11, but still good result for the 39 car because he's been having a very bad season, talking about the 39 car. And yeah. And then for the Cup Series, I think the biggest surprise
Hang on a
was
second,
Anthony.
guys. Keep going. Hold up. Y'all keep going.
Yeah, the biggest surprise was Anthony Alfredo and Eric Jones. 9th and 10th for these guys. But yeah, definitely Eric Jones has been proving very good to race on super speedways or appear at the correct time. But Anthony Alfredo, that's a huge deal for Anthony Alfredo, getting a top 10. That's big for the 38 car. That's the first top 10 for Anthony Alfredo. So that's pretty amazing for this team. Not only for the first win about Wallace, but we don't have to skip the top 10 finish that got Anthony Alfredo into this race.
As I said, super speedways are the places where the unfunded teams can have their speed to win a race.
Yeah, and also you remember that Cody Ware was leading the race.
Oh, I remember.
Even Cody Ware Racing has a chance to win. Cody Ware's like, I don't care. You can turn off. I remember Kyle Busch was in 8th place. I thought that was a race. I was like, turn up there. Like, stop it there. We are good, but we stop it in the correct time, 27. That sucks. That I have a huge hate love for super speedway. Like, we got things like this, but at the same time, my driver just doesn't have the results. He can't just have a result at super speedways. But yeah, this is the only good. But I always try to go for the good side that we get these underfunded teams trying to go for the win. So
yeah, I just hope
as long as my driver doesn't sucks the super speedway. So yeah,
I just hope that the next gen car, I just hope they nail with this one. I mean, I hope they continue using the package they have similar that they currently have with the super speedways. I just hope they don't change it up for the next gen car. I mean,
we'll see. That's I think that's something I'm concerned of. But I think Kurt Busch showed the super speedway package. I think on his announcement on 2311. I don't know if that's the package, but I see a huge spoiler. I see like type of base that they have on the back of the car. So that looks like a super speedway package, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on the duels or on Daytona 500 practice. I hope next year they bring practice full time because we definitely need it.
And also to add on, I mean, with the whole practice, I mean, one of the reasons why I'm against no practice, I mean, it takes away the whole weekend experience. You know, for many years, I mean, for us, you know, as NASCAR fans, you know, a whole race weekend doesn't start until Wednesday. You know, when the teams start arriving, Thursday, Friday. That's when, you know, practice sessions begin. You know, fans, you know, get to kind of interact with the drivers, or it kind of takes away the whole weekend build up to the event.
I think it takes up the best parts that a NASCAR weekend has, because practice, qualifying, those were happened maybe one of the biggest moments that they are part of the history. I think, the NASCAR, the races are as well due to fights or those kind of moments, but practice and qualifying is like not too much pressure as a race. So it happens one of the most random things that you can ever imagine. And it's like a different race, like a different moment. So yeah, we definitely need practice and qualifying back.
I mean, especially for fans who are attending these races. I mean, there's fans that camp around there from literally from Wednesday to Monday. They spent, they take all this time they have out of their jobs, or this is kind of like for many fans. I mean, especially with the NASCAR fan base. I mean, a lot of the NASCAR fan base are low income, and they save up this. I mean, this is kind of like their only vacation they have of the year. They save up all the money that they make to attend to these NASCAR weekends, and especially those that camp from their motorhomes.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if this seems to be the case where there's no practice and qualifying, honestly, there's no point to camp out if it's just going to be a one-day event. I mean, if it's just going to be just the Cup race and all that, or just Xfinity Trucks, Xfinity and Cup, I mean, they're only going to be there for 3 days and instead of a whole week. So, I gotta say that all three of us, we're very lucky to kind of, we were very fortunate to, to be part of a whole NASCAR week, to witness, a whole NASCAR week starting on Wednesday, starting with practice, with 3 practice sessions, a qualifying, even all the events that the track has, the hospitality events that they have, or sponsor events, that was also one of the amazing parts that I used to enjoy about attending, especially during the times I attended Chicagoland Speedway. I used to enjoy, going to sponsor events after practice, like on a Thursday, Friday evening, or even going to driver appearances, on a Friday or Saturday. Or for example, on Friday, and there was the 2019 Chicagoland weekend when I met Daniel Suarez at a Mexican restaurant that is, I believe, 45 minutes away from me. That was kind of those moments that I definitely cherish, when there was practice and qualifying. And especially for a fan, NASCAR is one of those only sports where you kind of get a closer interaction with the drivers. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, they don't do any of that. And, I feel like NASCAR is kind of trying to go into that route where they're just having one-day events. Out of every sport that we have, NASCAR is the only sport that has the best tailgating. There's no question about that. And I'm sure you guys or the chat who are watching can definitely agree with me on that. But it just takes away that tradition that we've had, of a whole NASCAR weekend, or even the events we used to have, prior. I mean, who even remembers back when they had the Speed Channel? Y'all remember that?
Yeah, Speed Channel.
Yeah, back when they used to have NASCAR trackside on the speed stage, or back when they used to do NASCAR race day on the speed stage. I mean, I feel like, NASCAR with them going, kind of reducing costs and all that, they're just reducing everything that they
they're
had.
reducing costs, but they are bringing NASCAR to the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Yeah, true.
Come on, like
I said,
I don't understand. I don't understand what NASCAR is doing. Like, don't pretend you're trying to save money. Bring back fucking practice and qualifying. Just don't waste time. Like, come on, just bring it back. True. Formula One and IndyCar, they don't have promise to bring in qualifying and practice. Why NASCAR can't? And even Formula One, that they are traveling, and Addison knows that even more than us, that they are going from country to country, knowing how much the risk it is, and they are having qualifying everything. But NASCAR going locally and they don't make practice. It's like, and also it's like, I hate the format of qualifying right now with no practice. Like, always the guys that they are in the top 5, they are always in the pole, especially right now with Kyle Larson being the most dominant. He almost like 60% of the races he was going on first. Like, no, we need qualifying back, because I don't have no hate about Larson, but it just makes the qualifying so annoying that it just makes always the same guy going from first every single time.
True. I mean,
so that's why we need back qualifying. So that's the situation we really need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else you want to add on, Addison?
All I could just say is, just what's the point of not having practice and qualifying at the race? I mean, yes, last year a couple races were held at the same track 2 week 2 weeks in a row or a few days after another, but there from one race to next weekend, there's no race like in the middle of the weekend. I mean, they can still they they cannot do practice and qualifying for races that like happen a few days after one race because or when they went from Sunday to a Wednesday race, they barely like have any time to practice. But from one weekend to another weekend, there's plenty of time to do practice and qualifying. And all I can just say is, what is the point of not having practice and qualifying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've seen where, I mean, with the new procedures, there's some possibly next season, there's some where they might probably have just 25-minute practice sessions. And I still don't see it as enough time, for these teams to really make any adjustments to the car, any adjustments that they need in order to kind of get the cars set up for race trim. I mean, every time they do a practice or qualifying session, they have different types of trims that they do to the car. One that's set up for practice, set up for qualifying to make sure it's the fastest car out there in order to get a good starting position or sit on the pole. But qualifying, I mean, practice has been a part of racing. And I believe every racing series needs practice. And they're one of the only sports that do practice. And even drivers have been vocal about it. Even like Kyle Busch, he's even said, without, he does not practice has been one of the reasons why he has not been performing up to the level that we've been expecting him to perform at. Or even some drivers even the rookie drivers. I mean, they're the ones that definitely do need practice the most. I mean, look at the rookies like Chase Briscoe and Anthony Alfredo. With their lack of practice, they're kind of unable to really, kind of gain more. They're unable to gain, the experience of having practice and qualifying, but also kind of, improving the way, they're able to adapt the races, when, for example, like, if the car's too loose, too tight, or if they need to transition from day to night in any of these races. So it's a lot more difficult on these rookies. And yeah. All right. So after Talladega, these are now the playoff standings. So we're going to go over the playoff standings. So obviously Denny Hamlin is locked in with his win at Las Vegas. Second is Kyle Larson. Third is Joey Logano. Fourth is Brad Keselowski. Fifth is Martin Truex Jr. Sixth is Ryan Blaney. Seventh is Chase Elliott. Eighth is Kyle Busch. Ninth and below the cutoff line is Kevin Harvick, Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Alex Bowman. So with that leaves drivers like William Byron and Alex Bowman into must-win scenarios heading into the Charlotte Roval. Overall, Addison, what's been your biggest surprise so far? What's been the biggest surprise heading into the Roval this weekend?
Well, for me, Kevin Harvick, because before last year, Harvick has made it after 2016 and from 2017 to 2019. He's made it all the way to the championship floor, but it's not won the championship. And though last year he didn't make the championship floor, don't make it to the round of 8, but Stewart Haas has been a bit off as like we see the previous years. I feel like last year, not seeing Harvick in the championship floor, but for the Hendrick guys, William Byron and Alex Bowman, I thought those two would be the possible ones to make it to round 3. Byron, I don't know if he'll have a possible chance of getting enough points to go in, but Bowman, I could say his championship hopes are done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a must win.
Nothing really to say about Christopher Bell, honestly.
Yeah. I think what's really surprising me is Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. I mean, before the round of 12 started, I had Keselowski and Logano out of the round of 12 due to the fact that they haven't been performing at the level that we've been known for them performing. I mean, yeah, the super speedways, I mean, them running well at the super speedways kind of gave them an advantage heading into this weekend. But I gotta say, Chase Elliott, he's kind of in unfamiliar territory. He's 7th, on the verge of him not making it to the round of 8. But Chase Elliott fans, there's nothing to worry about. You got the Roval coming up. He's won the last 2 races, so he should be good. But Kyle Busch is kind of in the similar scenario he was at last year. Right above, almost on the verge of being below the cutoff line for the playoffs. So Kyle Busch, I mean, he just needs to collect a few stage points and he might have a good shot to make it in to the round of 8. But he's kind of in that similar spot he was at last year, as he was battling the last spot with him and Alex Bowman. So he's in an unfamiliar territory at the moment. And yeah. So with Edison Test, so to kind of ask you, who is someone that you feel that we should be concerned for heading into this weekend?
Honestly, well, I know this is a track that this driver has won at the last 2 years, but I don't know about much concern about Chase Elliott because he is 7th. Though he is 7th in the standings, but I don't think we have to worry about him going into the Roval because, as I said, last 2 years he's won there. Kyle Busch might be a little concerned because he almost is in the situation that he was in last year, but Harvick, I'm not entirely sure. Christopher, nothing really to worry about, but Byron and Bowman, 200 guys in the team that has probably been the pretty dominant ones this year, but that's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen with Alex Bowman, the past 2 Charlotte races, he's had to come in clutch. We saw in 2019 where him and Newman had to battle it out for the last spot to make it to the round of 12. Last season, him and Kyle Busch had to battle for the last spot to make it to the round of 8. But Bowman, I mean, the past 2 Charlotte Roval races, I mean, there's been moments where he had to come in clutch, and this is going to be he's on a much harder journey this time to make it to the round of 8 due to the fact that he pretty much doesn't, he's not going to race anybody to point his way in, where his only option is going to be to get himself in victory lane for the Charlotte Roval in order for him to get to the round of 8. So will it be impossible? No, but it's not going to be easy for Alex Bowman this weekend. So yeah, so those are the playoff standings heading into the Charlotte Roval this weekend, as we will have elimination this weekend. All right, so those are the playoff standings. So before we get to the pit stop round of the diecast, I'd like to give a shout out to Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. Go shop for 164 and 124 scale diecast of your favorite NASCAR driver. Check out the new release 164 and 124 scale diecast. Also, go shop for make sure you pre-order the Bubba Wallace race version diecast of his Talladega win. You can also go check out the new wave of the NASCAR Authentics at your local Target and your local Walmart. All right, so here's what we have for today. So for this week's Lionel shout out for this week, I have the Alex Bowman rookie car that he drove for BK Racing, his 2014 Dr. Pepper car. And Addison, what do you have for this week?
Got William Byron's exalted car from this year and the winning scheme from Homestead. And also we got Christopher Bale in his dream scheme, the winning car from Daytona. And both of those are the previous Authentics I've gotten recently.
Yeah. So also check out the new NASCAR Authentic waves. Any new release, make sure you keep updated with that, and check all around your local Targets, local Walmarts for any of those. And also you can also check out any race versions, any classics also as well from the early 2000s, such as Action Racing Collectibles, Winter Circle, the Action Platinum Series. So yeah. So thank you, Lionel Racing, for the shout out, and check out Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. All right, so we got a few news to cover up for this week. We're gonna start out with Grant Enfinger has signed to race for GMS Racing full time in 2022 and 2023, and he'll be driving
the team he started with in the Truck Series and is now making a comeback.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm still shocked. I still don't know how. I'm still baffled by the fact that he got demoted from the 98 truck. I mean, pretty much he sent that team to the championship 4 and gets demoted. I mean, I'm still shocked with that move. So yeah, so that leaves.
Can I get my good guess on why?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my guess is since Christian Eckes was in the 18, and then it probably was just a 1-year deal, he was just going to leave the team. So I probably would guess they were just that Eckes was just trying to find a team to race with, and I would guess ThorSport was just probably the only choice. But they didn't demote Enfinger completely; they just made him race part time.
Mm-hmm.
At least they can still let Enfinger race the 98, but just not full time.
Yeah. Hey, now with Christian Eckes winning in that truck, I think that could open up for him to get an opportunity to race full time for ThorSport Racing in that 98 truck.
Possibly.
Yeah. So with Grant Enfinger going to the 23 truck full time, that leaves uncertain futures for both Chase Purdy and Tyler Ankrum. So their futures for next season are uncertain, but we'll keep more updated on that as the season goes on. Austin Hill will not return to Hattori Racing in 2022. That is definitely shocking, and I did hear the news a few minutes before we went live. But yeah, so Austin Hill will not be returning to Hattori Racing, and Hattori Racing will be looking for a new driver to drive the number 16 truck for next season. Addison, your thoughts on that?
Well, I kind of thought, or I actually thought that Austin Hill would probably make it farther than the round of 8 and will make it to the championship 4. But his bad weekend at Bristol was nothing but bad. But I kind of thought Austin Hill would continue more years with Hattori, but now that he's leaving Hattori this year, what could come of Hattori in the future years?
Yeah. All the future announcements and for Austin Hill or Hattori Racing will come at a more later date. So yeah, Will Rogers will be racing at the Charlotte Roval for Sam Hunt Racing. Daniel Hemrick opened up about his decision to go to Colleague Racing. He mentioned that pretty much since 2019, he's been wanting to go to a team that is more stabilized, that kind of makes him feel more like home. So that's why pretty much since 2019, we've seen Daniel Hemrick switch from RCR to Junior Motorsports to Joe Gibbs Racing to now Colleague Racing to 4 different teams. So since 2019, Daniel Hemrick has not found any stability for any team he's driven for, and he feels that Colleague Racing could be the team that can kind of give him that stabilization. As we know, Colleague Racing did revive the career of AJ Allmendinger. It did open up more opportunities for Justin Haley's career, and also given the opportunity for Jeb Burton, who was able to get his first career win this year at Talladega. So we still don't know what his future is for next season. But, Daniel Hemrick he did bring up a good point. I feel like stability is something that Daniel Hemrick has lacked throughout his career, even though the fact he still has this much career wins in NASCAR in all 3 series. I mean, if he just gets some stability from any teams, he might have a chance to get that elusive first career Cup win and be there for the long term. But yeah, so that was his reasoning in making his decision to go to Colleague Racing.
May I say a few things about Hemrick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of crazy how Hemrick has not even won in any of the winning teams. I mean, his first year in the Truck Series with BKR, does not even win a race. It comes close. Goes to Xfinity for 2 years, with Richard Childress, doesn't win a race. Goes to the Cup Series with Richard Childress, does not win. Goes to Joe Gibbs Racing, has not even won so far, but it's too early to say that he'll never. But with Colleague, he would definitely be a front runner in the speedways because, of course, as you all know, Colleague is the leading team for super speedways. And I would say super speedways are going to probably be a good chance for Hamrick to win with NASCAR. He can win at other tracks besides super speedways.
Mm-hmm. You probably might have a shot at the intermediates or on the short tracks. But yeah. So Chris Wright will be running for JD Motorsports at the Charlotte Roval. Radiate sponsoring Jeff Burton at the Charlotte Roval. Beef, it's what's for dinner. 300 returns to the Daytona International Speedway for the season opener at Daytona. So they get to stick with that weird sponsor that they have. Let's see.
What kind of person created a name like that? I don't know who.
I have no idea. 2311 Racing scores their second charter for next season. Joey Hand to make Cup Series debut for Wickware Racing at the Charlotte Roval. North Carolina.
Say who?
Joey Hand.
Okay.
Yeah. North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame will be on Quinn Hauf's car for the Charlotte Roval. And Anthony Alfredo brings Sid Card back to Front Row Motorsports at the Charlotte Roval. So yeah, so that is the pit stop round of the Turn 4 podcast. And hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find it.
Trying to get the entry list, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can't find it, but I'm sure you have it. So yeah, so Addison's now going to go over the entry list for this weekend's Cup race at the Charlotte Roval. So Addison, take it away.
Okay. I'm gonna try my best. Probably try to pull it up on my phone. All right. I can pull it up on my phone, but here we go. Quinn Health is going to have NC Sports Half Bus Clean. I never heard of that one. Kurt Busch is going to have Monster Energy. Brad Keselowski's got Worth. Austin Dillon's yet to be announced. Kevin Harvick is going to be having Mobile One in a burning flame color. Kyle Larson is going to have HendrickCars.com. Ryan Newman's going to have Castrol. Corey LaJoy has Schluter Systems. Tyler Reddick has Lenovo. I don't know how to say that. Chase Elliott's got Napa Auto Parts. Eric Almirola has Ford Warriors in pink. Danny Hamlin has FedEx Office. Blaney has Tex Imaging. Chase Briscoe has Ford Performance Racing School /highpoint.com. Josh Balicki to AJ Allmendinger have yet to be announced. Chris Buescher has Fastenal. Kyle Busch has Usual M&M's. Martin Truex Jr. has Bash Pro Shops. Christopher Bell has Irwin Trade Strong. Matt Benedetto has Menards Duracell. Logano has Usual Shell Pennzoil. Bubba Wallace has DoorDash. William Byron has Valvoline. Michael McDowell has Lowe's Travel Stops. Ryan Preece has Kleenex. Anthony Alfredo, as Daniel mentioned, has brought back Sitgard. Cole Kessler has AutoDeskCostuming.com. Ross Chastain has Clover. Eric Jones has Howard to the Patients. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has Kroger Cottonelle. Alex Bowman has LAX Charlotte FC. Cody Ware has New York Tech OT. Joey Hand to Garrett Smithley have no sponsors yet, but have yet to be announced. Timmy Hill has Crash Claims RUS. Justin Haley has Bonds, Coors, and Swamp Rabbits. Scott Hecker has Bremont Chronometers. And last but not least, Daniel Suarez has CompScope.
And yes, so that is the entry list for the Charlotte Roval this weekend. So now we're going to go into our picks for this weekend. So we got the Xfinity series this weekend and the Cup Series, and also to notify that the Cup Series will have pink window nets in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in this month in October. So Anthony couldn't be here today, but I will mention his picks for this weekend, and I don't know where Mauricio's at, so he says he has to do something right now. Let's see. So Anthony said that I think he only gave me his main and bold pick. So his main pick, he says AJ Allmendinger, and his bold pick, he said Daniel Hemrick. All right, so Addison, starting with you, give us your Xfinity Series picks.
All right, main pick for Xfinity, I'm gonna go with Anthony. I have to say Allmendinger because he won last year in the soaked Roval race. And speaking of soaked Roval race, we might have a repeat from last year because there is rain in the forecast for Saturday. So we might get a repeat from last year. Who knows? And my bold pick, uh, I'm gonna go with Austin Cindric. Although he wasn't strong on the Roval last year, but he's one of the two road course ringers this year. So he's my bold pick. My non-playoff pick, let's see, non-playoff pick back in the 54, and he did win Watkins Glen, and I am going to pick Ty Gibbs as a non-playoff pick.
Okay. All right, so my picks for Xfinity, main pick, I'm gonna agree with you and Anthony. I'm gonna go with AJ Allmendinger. You know, he's currently one of the best road course ringers we currently have in our sport, and also he's won the past two Charlotte Roval races, and he did win one with all the pouring down rain it had, and especially like Edison did mention, though, rain is expected to be is expected on Saturday. So if that's the trend, if the same trend happens like it did last year, I could expect Allmendinger to get a win. Bold pick, I'm gonna go with Justin Allgaier. He's pretty good at the road courses, so I do expect possibly him to contend for the win. And non-playoff, I'm going with Ty Gibbs. He's won 2 road courses this season. He might make it 3. Who knows? So now for the Cup Series. So Anthony told me his picks for the Cup Series, and he says his main pick is Kyle Larson, and his bold pick is Alex Bowman. He didn't tell me his non-playoff, but he told me his main and bold. So Addison, give us your Cup Series picks.
All right, main pick. I would be dumb to not pick this guy at the Roval, and I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. And of course, as you all know, every Mondays, Chase Elliott wins. I go to Hooters.
Yeah. Will you be able to jump on the pool?
I might not. I don't know because my pool is starting to get very cold.
All right.
My bold pick. He was in a position to win in 2018, but cautions and a wreck cost him a win. He was a bit decent last year. And my bold pick, I'm going to go with Mr. BK, Brad Keselowski. Although he is in the safe position for the next round. My bold pick is Keselowski. Non-playoff pick. The 3 years he's raced at the Roval, he's been up front. No one in 2018, but was in contention to win the Xfinity race last year at the Roval. And my non-playoff pick, I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe.
Okay. All right. So my picks for the Cup Series, main pick, I think he's been his competition this season at the road courses, and he has beat him in 2 occasions, and I think he's going to beat him for this one. I'm going with Kyle Larson to win at the Charlotte Roval. Bold pick, he's going to finish. I think he's going to finish second to his teammate, Chase Elliott. And non-playoff pick, I'm actually going to go with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Not sure how
That's a bold one.
Yeah, so he's my non-playoff. You know, we've seen some flashes of him this season where he's ran well in tracks we don't expect him to run well, but I could expect that from Ricky Stenhouse Jr. This season. And it doesn't look like Mauricio is. I don't know if he's going to be back, but if he does come back, we'll ask him for his picks. So I think that should do it for picks. I think that should do it for today's episode. But I just want to thank everyone for your support. I got to thank everyone who tunes in every Tuesday to watch our podcast, or anyone who takes time out of the day to stick Tuesday evenings with us. So it definitely means a lot. Go follow all of our social medias. We'll put it on the link down below. Also, we got some few announcements that I'm very excited to announce in the coming weeks, and also heading into the off season as next season, as there will be a few adjustments to next season that will improve the podcast, and that will take the podcast on a whole different level. And also, yes, and what else? I think that's my other train of thought. But yeah, Addison, I'll pass it on to you. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
Nothing much really.
Yeah. Yeah, and if y'all watching, Addison will make his full return in 2022. I'm not sure how many more episodes he's going to be for this season, but he will be on for the Phoenix weekend. And yeah. So all I want to say, thank you everyone so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, on any social media platform. And we'll see you guys in next weekend's podcast. Have